buy back the ground using profits from events there to build up the club. And Ken Bates, the controversial chairman, will no longer be the owner, though he will remain as president. Ian Bucknell asks if this could mean a return to these Leeds United glory days.
After months of speculation, rumour and frustration, this morning came confirmation that Leeds United has been sold. The new owners are Dubai-based investment bank GFH Capital, whose executive David Haig has made it clear he's pleased the deal is finally done. Papers have been signed and the 100% takeover will be completed in a month.
But it's brilliant really, because this is what Leeds needs, because everyone's just getting a bit disheartened at the moment.
Finally, yeah. I mean, after so long, I think about 6-9 months been going on now, but finally get some money in, get going and get back over blogging Premier League.
But this does not bring an end to Ken Bates' involvement with Leeds. The outgoing owner will stay on as chairman until the end of the season and then become president. Bates took over in 2005 with the club deep in debt.
I promised the Leeds fans, to use Cilla Black's phrase, we're going to have a lot of laughs.
But Leeds fans would struggle to see the funny side of administration and relegation in 2007. Both on and off the field, Leeds were at their lowest ebb. A return to the Championship took 3 years, but even then the spine of a good young side was sold. The manager sacked and the chairman facing yet even more questions over how he ran the club. After a protest in 2011, Bates referred to disenchanted fans as morons, but they weren't discouraged and more protests followed.
We're sick of the lies, we're sick of the mistrust.
We're basically here to tell him we've had enough.
Such fans hoped Bates would sever his links with the club entirely, so today's news contained something of a surprise.
Staying on as chairman for a transitional period is sensible, but then to stay on as a president afterwards, when we were told by GFH that Mr Bates was going. So this is going to raise questions, unfortunately, and I'm sure in the days and weeks ahead supporters will want answers.
Well, even though Ken Bates isn't completely out, a group that's promising investment is coming in. That will come as a relief to manager Neil Warnock, who's seen his threadbare squad go 7 games in the league without a win. During their club's 9 seasons outside the Premier League, Leeds United fans have been sustained by glories past. The hope is that the takeover points to a future that can also be a source of pride. Ian Bucknell, BBC Look North.
We're joined now by Alan Pope from BBC Radio Leeds, who's followed the takeover saga from the beginning. What do we know about the company taking over? But most importantly, have they got the dosh?
Well, they're a Dubai-based investment company and they are a subsidiary of a Bahrain company. So that's what we know about them. David Haig has been fronting them up. He'll join the board immediately for Leeds United. He's a lifelong Leeds United fan, so that's a good start, you'd say, wouldn't you? Money-wise, they've shown proof of funds to Ken Bates. That's the thing he's always asked for. Now, this deal in its entirety, and there's very few details, Harry, could be worth up to £52 million. They're not going to reveal what it is, so they must have money. In fact, they've made a cash injection today. OK, let's talk about, really, the reaction from other people as well. We've got a clip here from a university expert. He's got this to say about the whole deal.
Clearly we're going to be halfway through a season. Ken Bates is stepping down in the summer, so I think, you know, over the next 18 months I'd expect to see an investment of in the order of 20 to 25 million going into next season that can then really push them on through. And of course players will also see this as an opportunity to drive up the value of their contracts. So the manager, and he will be, I know he will be, because of the type of person he is, has to be very strong now with the types of players that are coming in and the renegotiations on contracts that will follow.
That's money, that's players on the field, but this was billed as a takeover which would end the Bates era. Not quite so. He's staying on as president. What does that mean? OK, so he's chairman for now, to the end of the season. Now, as a chairman, he's his own man. So I believe he'll have a very strong role to play till the end of the season, certainly. As president, will he be like the previous president, Lord Harwood, just an old man sat at the back, a very nice person sat at the back, in Lord Harwood's case? Not in front of him at all. I can't see it being ceremonial. I think one of the most interesting things is now, will Ken Bates gradually
release the reins. It's not in his nature to do that. And I think one of the most interesting relationships now is between him and the incoming board, and there will be 3 or 4 members before December, starting with David Haig.
He could even be on the board. We don't know what's been negotiated, do we?
Yeah, well, certainly he's chairman for now to the end of the season.
I'd certainly like to know what he's actually bought as well, what the company's bought.
Well, that's a huge question. Remember, GFH Capital said they were going to make a 100% purchase of Leeds City Holdings, the parent company. They're talking about the football club today, and it's the start of the process. The transaction has begun, and over the next month, they'll be involved day to day with Leeds United. Will the ground be coming back in? That's a separate purchase.
Okay.
As for Thorpe Arch, that could be a separate again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks ever so much. Well, it's less than 5 weeks to Christmas, and one of Yorkshire's biggest employers is now lobbying the government for longer Sunday shopping hours. They want to boost sales. It has, of course, been a difficult year for many, including Bradford-based Morrison's. They've sales down, where some of its competitors have seen modest rises.
So how does the company push forward when its customers are counting every penny? Our business correspondent Danny Hewson has spoken exclusively to Morrison's boss.
From the inside, you wouldn't know you weren't in Yorkshire, but this is part of Morrison's growing foray into the south, an area where they're still struggling to compete with the big 3 supermarkets. The economy's tough and sales have been less than rosy this year, leading many to question when the company will dive into the lucrative online business, which has bolstered competitors like Asda and Sainsbury's.
We want to make sure that we do it right, so we're spending some time at the moment thinking through what that proposition could look like. We took an investment in a New York-based online food retailer called Fresh Direct, which we believe is the best online food retailer in the world. And we've had a team over there from Yorkshire in New York for a year, learning about how they do it in New York.
The changes they are making are eye-catching, with a focus on traditional skills and service, like the gadget which reads how many bodies enter the store and adds more people to keep the tills ringing.
A recent poll suggests 1/3 of us are planning to spend less this Christmas as the pressure on household budgets intensifies. So how does Morrison's get more of a share of that lucrative market after what's been a difficult year of trading?
That's where the Bradford-based chefs come in. Hampered by a difficult harvest, they've been crafting Christmas for months, and no value is the key.
Customers, especially this year, are skinned. Basically, they're really short of cash, so we've made our food offer as relevant as possible. Our M Savers range, for example, you can feed 8 people on a Christmas dinner for less than £2.50.
But logistically, there's another hurdle. What's traditionally the biggest shopping day, the 23rd, this year falls on a Sunday, and that means less time.
We're lobbying the government to say, look, during the Olympics, you extended the shopping hours. And why can't we extend the shopping hours for this Sunday? We're a business that wants to make it easy for mum or dad to do the shopping for this Christmas.
But one day Morrison's won't be selling festive fare is Boxing Day. They'll be one of the few companies not opening, no matter what that does to the bottom line. Danny Hewson, BBC Look North, Camden.
Later on Look North.
Looking for grand designs for our most historic city. York's in search of modern masters to create new architectural gems. That's all coming a little later, but let's have a look at some more of today's news. And a Catholic Brotherhood which supplied teachers to a Yorkshire residential school can be held legally responsible for the alleged sexual abuse of boys. That's a ruling by leading judges today. Around 170 men are seeking damages after allegedly they were abused as children at St William's in Market Wheaton in East Yorkshire. A panel of 5 Supreme Court judges today concluded that legal responsibility should be shared between a welfare society which managed the school and a brotherhood which provided the teachers.
Police have issued a CCTV still showing some of the last known movements of a woman reported missing in Huddersfield. Emily Stothard, who was last seen leaving the town's Odeon cinema at midnight on Monday. She was later dropped off by a taxi outside her home, but police don't believe she went inside and are growing increasingly concerned for her well-being.
Around 200 students marched through Bradford this lunchtime to protest against cuts in education. The action is part of a national demonstration by the National Union of Students, which was actually called off earlier today. Many young people from universities across Yorkshire travelled to London to take part in that protest.
A judge has ruled that a legal challenge against the decision to end children's heart surgery in Leeds will have to be heard by mid-February. Campaigners from Save Our Surgery had hoped to delay their High Court action until after a separate government review. But the judge ruled against the request, saying it must be heard before that date.
The Archbishop of York has spoken out today on the decision by the Church of England not to allow women to become bishops. Dr John Sentamu said the decision was disappointing, but he was confident that there would be women bishops in his lifetime.
I was there in 1992 when we voted women to become priests. Then it could have been sunk by 4 votes, and 4 votes moved, and we got the measure, and we've had women for this 20 years. So all I would say, it happened then, it will still happen. So I believe 2 things to me strongly this morning. There will be women bishops, there will be provision for those who are opposed, and we've got to work a bit harder to make sure that those 6 who voted against the measure in the House of Laity are persuaded that there is provision.
Right, let's move on for the prospects for the... well, thanks for joining us.
Nice of you to pop in.
Hey, what about Hadrian as well? You'd have to go to China. Is that not big enough?
But it's not in our region. We were trying to promote the Peak District.
Well, yes, I know, and the Peak District.
Yes.
I'm just making that point. Let me show you a couple of pictures. Dreadful, dreadful day today. 19 millimetres of rain in Sheffield, top temperature 7 degrees, but we saw a glimmer of sunshine. This first sunset, that was Bolby near Doncaster. Absolutely stunning. And Seamer outside Scarborough had another beautiful sunset. That's some lovely sunrises and sunsets we've had this week. Keep those pictures coming in, Paul the Weatherman at bbc.co.uk. Well, we start with a warning for tomorrow's weather. Not only gales locally severe, but some very heavy rain to come later in the day. There's the headline. It's a lovely picture, that, isn't it? But it does sum how bad things will get for a time as we head through tomorrow. And just look at the number of isobars ahead of that cold front. That means gales generally 50 to 60 miles an hour. 1 or 2 exposed spots could have wind speeds higher than that, especially over the Pennines and the Peak District for that matter. There's the swirl of cloud which brought the dreadful weather conditions certainly this morning. This clearance will come through, is coming through right now. A few showers coming across the Irish Sea, and then tomorrow's weather waits in the wings. So quite chilly out there, but dry with clear periods, and then certainly after midnight there's a risk of 1 or 2 sharp showers pushing in from the west, and fairly cool conditions. It should stay frost-free though, lows around about 4 Celsius. Rurally, temperatures could just be a little bit cooler than that. The breeze picks up towards dawn. So the sun will rise in the morning at 7:47, setting at 3:58. Your high water time in Filey at 11:33 tomorrow morning. So a bright start, especially in the east, although there will be 1 or 2 showers around. They will clear out of the way. Then a bit of a drier interlude, but the wind will pick up. Patchy rain perhaps onto the Pennines by the end of the morning. But it's through the afternoon. That cold front brings rain, increasingly heavy, with some really squally winds. That's when we'll see gales, possibly severe, in more exposed parts of Yorkshire and Derbyshire. Let's have a look at the top temperatures. Well, numerically, quite a bit higher than today, 11 or 12 degrees. But when you add in the strength of that wind, it really makes those temperatures quite academic. A little bit further ahead, well, enjoy Friday if you can. Dry with lots of sunshine, quite a chilly feel as well. Still a lot of uncertainty about the weekend, but at the moment, after a bright start on Saturday, yet more heavy rain will sweep in from the south, leaving Sunday and early next week very unsettled.
I've never seen graphics quite as intense as that.
No, I haven't actually. I don't know what happened there, but it does give the general idea. I did.
It was a mistake, was it?
And did you see those isobars, Harry?
I did. I'm really excited by those isobars. Tell you what. Anyway, I'll be back later on. I'll be talking to Paul later on. Bye-bye.
About isobars.
I won't.